the city never slept. Neon signs glowed in every color imaginable, reflecting off the slick streets slick with endless rain. From the tallest towers to the smallest alleyways, life pulsed with a mixture of technology and ambition. Flying cars hummed overhead, while people moved quickly beneath umbrellas, their faces lit by the glow of digital advertisements. In the middle of this constant motion, Milo moved with purpose, carrying a small toolkit in his hands. Milo was a young inventor, not famous but talented in ways few people noticed. He loved building machines that could make life easier for ordinary people. Tonight, he was working on a small drone that had stopped responding to commands. The drone was supposed to help with deliveries across the city, but it had malfunctioned and caused a minor chaos in the market district. Milo had been called in to fix it before someone noticed its absence. The rain fell steadily, soaking his coat and making the neon lights blur into colorful streaks. He crouched behind a vendor's stall, tools in hand, trying to reach the delicate wires of the drone without breaking them. His fingers moved quickly, but the rain made everything slippery. He cursed under his breath, wishing he had chosen a dry evening for this task. Suddenly, someone bumped into him. The impact was gentle but enough to make him lose grip on a small screwdriver. "Oh!" Milo exclaimed, catching his balance just in time. He looked up and saw her. Nara. She stood there in a dark coat, her hair damp from the rain, but her expression calm and confident. Her eyes, bright and curious, seemed to notice everything at once: the small drone, Milo's frantic hands, and the chaos of the market around them. She smiled faintly. "You're trying to fix that, aren't you?" she asked, her voice soft yet clear over the sound of falling rain. Milo hesitated, surprised. "Yes. I mean, I'm trying. It's tricky." He nodded toward the drone, which now wobbled slightly in the air. "It's malfunctioning, and I need to get it working before it causes trouble." Nara crouched down beside him, her movements precise. "May I help?" she offered. Milo blinked. He didn't usually get strangers offering to help him with his inventions, especially in the middle of a crowded market during a rainstorm. I guess," Milo said, stepping aside. He watched as Nara's hands moved deftly, adjusting wires and pressing small buttons on the drone. She worked with ease, as if she had done this many times before. Within minutes, the drone stabilized and hovered steadily in front of them. Milo's mouth fell open. "How did you?" Nara shrugged lightly. "I've had my practice. Technology is just a puzzle. You just need to know which pieces fit together." She handed him a small, shining device she had pulled from her coat pocket. "This might help you with your next project. It's unusual, but it can change the way your invention works." Milo took it, turning it in his hands. It was small, simple in shape, but he could feel a strange energy in it. "Thank you. But, who are you? I don't think we've met before." She smiled faintly, her eyes reflecting the neon lights around them. "Some people you meet are meant to appear for a reason. Just remember, some choices shine brighter in the rain." And with that, she stood and walked away, disappearing into the crowd. Milo stood frozen for a moment, staring after her. He didn't even know why, but he felt a strange pull toward her, as if she had left a piece of herself in the air around him. He glanced down at the device in his hands, wondering how it worked and why it felt so important. The drone buzzed softly beside him, ready to fly again. Milo smiled faintly, feeling a mixture of curiosity and excitement. The city continued to glow and rain around him, but now it felt different. It wasn't just a city of machines and lights, it was a city full of possibilities. And somehow, meeting Nara had opened a new door for him, a door he was eager to step through. As Milo walked home, rain dripping from his coat and puddles reflecting neon everywhere, he couldn't shake the feeling that something big was coming. Something that could change his life, and perhaps the entire city. And somewhere in the neon rain, he knew that Nara would be a part of it. The rain had stopped by morning, leaving the city glistening like it had been washed clean. Neon reflections still lingered in puddles, giving the streets an otherworldly glow even under the soft sunlight. Milo walked through the market district, carrying the small device Nara had given him. He had spent the night studying it, turning it over in his hands, trying to understand how it worked. There was something unusual about it, a spark of potential that he could not ignore. As he passed a crowded intersection, Milo thought he saw a flash of movement, a familiar silhouette under a dark umbrella. His heart skipped a beat. Could it be Nara? He hurried forward, dodging pedestrians and puddles, only to find that she had disappeared again, leaving him wondering if he had imagined her. For the rest of the day, Milo kept running into signs of her everywhere. A shadow on a rooftop, a reflection in a shop window, a quick smile from a stranger who reminded him of her. It was as if the city itself was nudging him toward her. By evening, curiosity had turned into determination. He would find her. The rain returned that night, heavier than before, turning the streets into rivers of shimmering light. Milo wandered through alleys and side streets, holding the device tightly in his hand. Every flicker of neon seemed to guide him, every splash of water a rhythm in the city's pulse. Then, in a quiet square beneath a giant advertisement for a flying car, he saw her. Nara was leaning against a wall, her coat dripping rainwater, looking at something on a small screen in her hands. She didn't notice him at first. Milo approached slowly. "Nara," he called softly, unsure if it was the right name. She looked up, surprised, but her eyes softened when she saw him. "Milo," she said, as if hearing his name aloud confirmed that he was real. "You came back." I had to," Milo admitted, holding up the device. "I don't understand it yet, but it feels important." You said it could change things. Could you explain?" Nara's lips curved into a small smile. "It's not just a device. It's a key. A key to seeing possibilities you might not notice otherwise. But it only works if you're willing to take risks, if you're willing to believe in something bigger than yourself." Milo frowned, curiosity mixing with a bit of fear. "Risks? Bigger than myself?" "Yes," Nara said, her voice steady, yet gentle. "The city is full of people chasing power and control. But sometimes, even one person with an idea, with courage, can change everything. You have that potential, Milo. I see it in you." Milo's chest tightened. Her words were both comforting and challenging. He had spent his life quietly building inventions, never daring to show them to the world. But now, Nara was telling him that he could do something greater. That he could make a difference. For a moment, they stood in silence, the rain falling around them. The neon lights reflected in puddles at their feet, creating a glowing path that seemed to stretch toward the horizon. Milo realized he wasn't afraid anymore. He wanted to understand Nara, to understand the device, and to explore the possibilities she had spoken of. Can I trust you?" he asked finally. Nara's eyes met his, steady and sincere. "I can't promise it will be easy. I can't promise there won't be danger. But I can promise that I'll be with you, if you're willing to take the first step. Milo nodded slowly. The first step. That was all he needed to hear. He felt a strange mixture of excitement and nervousness, like standing at the edge of a high rooftop and knowing the jump could change everything. They walked together through the rain-soaked streets, sharing small conversation, laughter, and quiet moments where words were not needed. Milo felt an unexpected warmth in the presence of Nara, as if the neon rain around them carried a promise of adventure, hope, and perhaps something more. By the time they reached a quiet bridge overlooking the river of lights below, Milo felt a strange sense of clarity. He didn't know exactly where this path would lead, or what challenges they would face. But he knew that meeting Nara had opened a door he could never ignore. The city pulsed beneath them, alive with endless possibilities. And Milo, holding the mysterious device and walking beside the woman who had captured his curiosity and admiration, felt the first stirrings of something he had never felt before, a spark of hope, excitement, and perhaps the beginning of something deeper. As the rain fell again, soft and steady, Milo realized that the Neon City had become more than just his home. It had become a place of wonder, a place where even the smallest choice could lead to great change. And somehow, he knew that Nara would be part of that journey, guiding him, challenging him, and perhaps walking beside him through whatever lay ahead. The next few days passed in a blur for Milo. The city seemed different now, less like a maze of lights and machines, and more like a place full of secrets waiting to be discovered. Everywhere he went, he thought he saw signs of Nara, a shadow on a balcony, a reflection in a shop window, or the way the neon light seemed to flicker just as he passed. He couldn't shake the feeling that she was watching, guiding him, even when she was not physically there. Milo spent hours working on his inventions, using the small device Nara had given him. It was delicate, mysterious, and sometimes unpredictable, but it had a strange way of opening possibilities he had never imagined. A simple drone could suddenly carry heavier loads, or navigate obstacles it had never managed before. The city itself seemed to respond to his experiments, the neon lights reflecting off his metal creations as if cheering him on. One rainy evening, Milo was testing a new prototype in a quiet alley near the edge of the city. He adjusted the last wire when suddenly, he noticed movement from the corner of his eye. Shadows shifted, and figures stepped out from the darkness. A group of men wearing sleek, corporate-style uniforms approached, their expressions cold and calculating. Milo froze. He didn't recognize them, but their intent was clear. They wanted his invention. Before he could react, a flash of movement intercepted them. Nara appeared, swift and confident, standing between Milo and the men. "Back off," she said, her voice firm but calm. Her presence alone seemed to hold the men at bay for a moment. Milo stared at her, amazed. "How did you?" "I told you," Nara said, her eyes scanning the surroundings. "Some choices shine brighter in the rain. You made one when you accepted that device. And now, you're in danger because of it. But don't worry. I won't let them take what belongs to you." The men hesitated, then stepped forward aggressively. Nara moved with precision, using quick, controlled movements that seemed almost like a dance. Within moments, she had disarmed the nearest attacker, and the rest retreated with wary glances. Milo watched in awe, realizing for the first time how capable and brave she truly was. After the danger had passed, Nara turned to him. "You're lucky I was here. But this isn't over. People will come for you if they know what you have. You need to be careful, Milo. The city isn't as safe as it looks." Milo nodded, Heart still racing. I. I don't understand why anyone would want my inventions. They're meant to help people, not to be stolen. That's the problem, Nara said, her eyes serious. In a city like this, good ideas can become dangerous weapons if they fall into the wrong hands. That's why I'm involved. And now, you're involved too. But you have something they don't: creativity, courage, and a heart that still believes in doing the right thing. Milo felt a warmth in his chest at her words, a mix of admiration, trust, and something more he couldn't quite name. For the first time, he felt truly seen, not just as an inventor, but as someone capable of making a difference. They walked together through the neon-lit streets, the rain softening around them. Milo tried to understand more about Nara, about her world, about why she had appeared in his life at this exact moment. But Nara remained cautious, revealing only small pieces of her life and mission. She was part of something bigger, something dangerous, and yet she chose to trust him, even when the stakes were high. By the time they reached a quiet rooftop overlooking the city, Milo felt a mixture of exhilaration and uncertainty. "Why me?" he asked finally. "Why are you helping me? Why now?" Nara looked out at the glowing skyline, the rain tracing streaks down the neon lights. "Because sometimes, the right person appears at the right time. And you, Milo, have the power to change things. Not alone, but with me. I see potential in you more than you see in yourself." Milo stared at her, feeling a spark of hope and admiration. In a city full of chaos, danger, and endless rain, he had found someone who believed in him. And for the first time, he realized that the pull he had felt when he first met her wasn't just curiosity, it was the beginning of a connection he couldn't ignore. The city continued to hum below them, alive with lights and movement. And Milo, standing beside Nara under the neon rain, understood that their journey was just beginning. Whatever challenges lay ahead, he would face them. Not alone, but together. The rain came again that evening, heavier than before, turning the streets into rivers of glowing reflections. Milo had spent the day tinkering with his invention, trying to make it safer and faster. But his thoughts kept drifting back to Nara. She had disappeared again after their rooftop conversation, leaving him with a mixture of curiosity, worry, and a strange warmth he couldn't explain. By nightfall, Milo found himself walking toward the bridge where they had first spoken seriously. The neon lights bounced in puddles at his feet, and the distant hum of the city created a rhythm that matched his racing heart. He wondered if he would see her again or if she was just a fleeting presence, like a spark in the rain. As he reached the middle of the bridge, he saw her standing there, her coat dark and wet, hair sticking slightly to her face. The neon lights reflected in the puddles around her, creating a halo of color. Milo slowed, almost hesitant, afraid to break the fragile moment. "Nara," he called softly. She turned, her eyes meeting his. There was something different tonight, softer, yet stronger. She smiled faintly, as if she had been expecting him. "Milo," she said, her voice calm over the gentle sound of rain. "I was hoping you'd come." I needed to see you," Milo admitted. "I keep thinking about what you said, about choices, about possibilities. And I keep wondering, about you." Nara's eyes softened, and she stepped closer, the rain dripping from her coat. "I've been careful not to overwhelm you. There are things you don't understand yet, things that could be dangerous if revealed too soon. But I see how determined you are, and I think it's time you knew more." She led him to a quieter section of the bridge, where the neon lights glowed in gentle waves, and the city's hum felt distant. Milo followed silently, sensing the importance of the moment. I work for a group, Nara began, her eyes scanning the city below. A group that tries to protect the city from those who would misuse technology. Powerful corporations, rogue inventors, people who only want control, they are always looking for advantage. That device I gave you, your inventions, they have potential that could change the balance. And that makes them targets. Milo listened intently, a mix of awe and fear swirling inside him. So, you're trying to protect me? He asked softly. Yes, Nara said simply. But it's more than that. I believe in your potential. You have ideas that could help people, that could improve lives. And I want to make sure you have the chance to do that safely, wisely. Milo felt a warmth in his chest, a feeling he had never experienced before. She wasn't just protecting him, she believed in him, in his ideas, in his heart. I don't know what to say, he admitted, his voice quieter than usual. You don't have to say anything, Nara replied. Just trust me, and trust yourself. You're stronger than you think, Milo. And sometimes, letting someone stand beside you makes all the difference. The rain fell steadily around them, each drop catching the neon light and scattering it into 1,000 tiny sparks. Milo realized that, in this chaotic city, Nara had become his anchor. Her presence gave him courage, her belief in him gave him hope, and her smile gentle, understanding made his heart feel lighter than it had in years. For a moment, they stood in silence, listening to the rain and watching the city glow beneath them. The noise of the streets, the hum of flying cars, even the flickering advertisements, all of it faded into the background. It was just Milo, Nara, and the gentle neon rain, a moment suspended in time. Finally, Milo took a small step closer. I want to help, he said. I want to be part of this. Not just because of the inventions, but because of you. Nara's eyes softened even more, and she reached out to lightly touch his hand. And I want you to be part of it. Not because it's easy, not because it's safe, but because it's worth it. And because I believe we can do more together than we could apart. Milo's chest tightened. For the first time, he felt certain of something in this unpredictable, neon-lit city, that Nara was someone he could trust, someone who could walk beside him through danger and dreams alike. And in the soft, falling rain, he realized that his feelings for her were no longer just curiosity or admiration, they were something deeper, something he couldn't ignore. As they stood on the bridge, rain falling steadily around them, Milo felt the first real spark of hope and connection in his life. And somewhere beneath the neon lights and endless city hum, he knew that this was only the beginning of a journey neither of them would forget. The city never seemed quieter than before a storm. Milo and Nara moved carefully through the neon-lit streets, aware that danger could appear at any moment. Over the past days, Milo had begun to understand the importance of his inventions, and Nara had slowly shared pieces of her mission. But now, the danger was closer than ever. It began when Milo returned to his small workshop to find signs of intrusion. Drawers had been opened, tools scattered, and a small drone of his had disappeared. He knew immediately that someone had been there to steal his designs. His heart pounded, and he called Nara without hesitation. She arrived within minutes, moving swiftly through the rain-soaked streets. "They're after your invention," she said grimly, scanning the area. "And they won't stop until they get it. We need to act fast." Milo nodded. Fear and determination mingled inside him. He couldn't let his ideas, his creations meant to help people, fall into the wrong hands. "What can I do?" he asked. "You stay safe here, and help me track them," Nara said. "We'll need your knowledge of the devices to predict their next move. And you might need to be brave in ways you haven't imagined." Together, they moved through the city, using back alleys, rooftops, and quiet streets to avoid attention. Milo explained the functions of his drones, his inventions, and the small device Nara had given him. She listened intently, making quick decisions and guiding him on how to protect his work. As the rain fell harder, the first of the intruders appeared, a group of men in dark uniforms, moving quickly with a precision that spoke of professional training. Nara signaled Milo to hide while she intercepted them. With calm, controlled movements, she disarmed the nearest attackers, redirecting their energy with skillful maneuvers that seemed almost like choreography. Milo watched, amazed and slightly terrified, as Nara moved between them with confidence and focus. "Use the device," she called to him. "It can confuse them and give us the advantage." Milo took a deep breath and activated the small device. Instantly, a soft pulse spread through the area, causing the intruders' devices to malfunction. Their drones wobbled, their tracking systems scrambled, and confusion spread among them. Milo's heart raced as he realized that his invention, combined with Nara's courage and skill, could make a real difference. With the intruders temporarily disoriented, Nara grabbed Milo's hand and led him through a narrow alley. "We're not safe yet," she said. "We need to reach my safe location, where we can plan the next move." The two of them ran through the neon streets, rain splashing around their feet, lights reflecting in puddles like stars beneath the city. Milo felt an adrenaline he had never known, but it was paired with a strange comfort. Nara was beside him, guiding him, protecting him, and trusting him in return. Finally, they reached a hidden courtyard, where old machinery and crates provided cover from the city above. Milo set down his inventions carefully, examining the device in his hands. "They'll come back," he said quietly. "Yes," Nara admitted. "And we need to be ready. But we can face them together. I trust you, Milo. And I believe in what we can do." Milo looked at her, feeling a connection stronger than anything he had experienced before. Fear was still there, yes, but it was mingled with determination, admiration, and something softer, something that made his chest tighten in a way that had nothing to do with danger. "We'll protect the inventions," Milo said firmly. "And we'll protect each other. No matter what they do." Nara smiled faintly, a mixture of pride and relief in her expression. "Exactly. And remember, sometimes courage isn't about fighting alone, it's about standing together, even when the storm is at its worst." They spent the next hours planning carefully, using Milo's devices to set alarms, create distractions, and monitor the streets for intruders. The rain fell relentlessly, but inside their safe courtyard, Milo felt a growing sense of confidence. With Nara by his side, he realized that even in a city full of danger, he could make a difference. As dawn approached, the neon lights of the city reflected in wet streets. Milo and Nara stood together, watching the city wake from its sleepless night. "We're ready," Nara said. "Tomorrow, we face them again. But tonight, we remember why we're doing this. For the city. For people. And for each other." Milo nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility and the spark of hope mingling inside him. In the neon rain, amidst danger and uncertainty, he knew one thing for certain: he and Nara were no longer alone. They had each other. And together, they could face whatever the city or the world threw at them. The city was alive with tension. Neon lights reflected off the rain-slicked streets, casting colorful patterns in every puddle and window. Milo and Nara moved carefully through the quiet alleys, their eyes scanning for any sign of danger. After the previous night's attack, they knew that the threat had not disappeared, it had only grown smarter. "We have to stop them tonight," Nara said quietly, her eyes focused. "If they succeed, your invention could be used to control more than just drones. They could manipulate entire systems in the city." Milo nodded, tightening his grip on the small device she had given him. "I won't let that happen," he said. "We'll stop them. Together." They moved silently through the streets, climbing fire escapes and ducking behind crates, using every bit of knowledge Milo had about the city and his devices to stay ahead. The intruders were organized, moving with precision, but Milo and Nara were determined. Each step they took was careful, deliberate, and filled with a shared understanding that failure was not an option. Finally, they reached a large building near the edge of the city where the intruders had gathered. It was heavily guarded, with drones patrolling the perimeter and sensors scanning for movement. Milo's heart pounded as he studied the layout. "We can get inside if we use the devices to create a distraction," he whispered. Nara nodded. "You handle that. I'll cover us. Stay close." Milo activated the device, sending a pulse that temporarily disabled the intruders' drones. The sensors flickered and alarms sounded briefly, giving them a small window to slip inside. Nara led the way, moving with skill and speed, her eyes sharp and aware of every shadow. Milo followed, heart racing, amazed by her confidence and calm under pressure. Inside the building, the intruders were scrambling, trying to regain control of their systems. Milo and Nara navigated the corridors, avoiding guards and making their way toward the main control room. Each step brought them closer to the heart of the threat and to the climax of the night's danger. When they reached the control room, Milo realized the full scale of the plan. Screens displayed maps of the city, showing networks of drones, automated vehicles, and communication systems all under the intruders' influence. If they succeeded, the city would be at their mercy. Milo's mind raced, thinking of how to use his invention to stop them. "We can do this," Nara said, sensing his worry. "Trust yourself. Trust the device. Trust us." Milo took a deep breath and activated the device fully. A pulse spread through the control systems, causing drones to fall from the sky and alarms to sound throughout the building. The intruders were disoriented, their control slipping. Nara moved quickly, disabling them one by one, her movements precise and fearless. Milo watched, feeling a mixture of pride, fear, and admiration. She was incredible, and he was lucky to have her by his side. Suddenly, one of the intruders lunged toward Milo, aiming for the device. Nara reacted instantly, pushing him out of the way just in time. Milo stumbled but stayed on his feet, heart pounding. "Are you okay?" he asked, voice tight. Nara nodded, brushing herself off. "I'm fine," she said, though Milo could see a flicker of worry in her eyes. "We're almost there. Finish this." Milo focused, using the device to override the intruders' systems. Lights flickered, machines ground to a halt, and the city's networks began returning to normal. The intruders, now powerless, froze in confusion. Nara stepped forward, ensuring that no one could regain control. Within minutes, the threat was neutralized. Milo let out a breath he didn't realize he had been holding. "We did it," he said, awe and relief mixing in his voice. Nara smiled faintly, the neon rain outside reflecting in her eyes. "We did it together," she corrected. "And now the city is safe." For tonight, at least. Milo looked at her, feeling something more than gratitude. In the middle of danger, fear, and uncertainty, he realized that their bond had grown stronger. They trusted each other, relied on each other, and faced the storm side by side. For the first time, he understood what she had meant about standing together. As they stepped onto the rooftop, rain falling gently around them, Milo felt a sense of clarity. The city hummed below, alive and safe, and he knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, he would face them with Nara. The spark of hope that had begun when they first met had grown into something powerful, something unshakable. And beneath the neon rain, Milo finally understood that the journey they had begun together was far from over, but he no longer feared what lay ahead. With Nara by his side, he was ready for anything. The rain had slowed to a soft drizzle, leaving the city streets shining like mirrors under the neon lights. Milo and Nara walked side by side, their footsteps echoing softly on the wet pavement. The danger had passed, the intruders were defeated, and for the first time in days, the city felt peaceful. Yet, the adrenaline from their night of peril still lingered in Milo's chest. They stopped on a small bridge overlooking the river of lights that ran through the city. Neon reflections shimmered in the water below, casting colors across their faces. Milo glanced at Nara, noticing the way her hair clung to her coat from the rain, and the way her eyes seemed to glow with both relief and quiet strength. "We made it," Milo said, breaking the silence, his voice soft but full of wonder. "The city, it's safe. For now." Nara smiled faintly, her gaze resting on the water. "Yes. And it will be safe for longer, thanks to you. You didn't just protect your inventions, you helped protect the city. You faced danger and didn't run. You surprised me." Milo felt warmth rise in his chest. "I couldn't have done it without you. You were amazing out there." They stood quietly, the rain falling softly around them, the city alive but calm. Milo felt something shift inside him, a sense of clarity and understanding he had never experienced. For weeks, he had been captivated by Nara's skill, her confidence, and her mysterious presence. But now, he realized it was more than that. He admired her courage, her belief in others, and the way she had trusted him, even when the stakes were high. "Nara," he said finally, hesitant, I don't know how to say this, but I'm glad I met you. I've never felt this way before, about anyone. About anything." Nara turned to face him, her eyes softening. "Milo, I feel the same. You've surprised me too. Not just with your inventions, but with your heart. You care, truly care. And that makes you stronger than anything I've seen in the city." Milo's chest tightened. He took a step closer, the neon reflections dancing in his eyes. "I don't want to let this end," he said quietly. "I don't want this, us, to end." Nara reached out, lightly touching his hand. The contact sent a spark through Milo, simple yet profound. "It doesn't have to end," she said. "We've faced the danger together. We've survived. And now, we can choose what comes next." For the first time, Milo felt completely certain about something. He had spent so long focused on inventions, on ideas, on possibilities, but now he understood that some choices were more important than any device or plan. Choosing each other, trusting each other, and facing the future together, that was the choice that mattered most. They stood there for a moment, the soft rain falling, the neon lights reflecting like 1,000 tiny stars in the puddles around their feet. Milo realized that the city, once a place of chaos and challenge, had become a symbol of hope, possibility, and connection. And Nara was a part of that hope, his hope. "Do you want to walk?" Milo asked, a small smile forming. "Through the city, together?" Nara nodded, returning his smile. "Yes. Let's see where the night takes us." They walked slowly, side by side, through the rain-soaked streets. They passed the market, now quiet, neon signs flickering softly. They walked under bridges, across plazas, and along the river, sharing small conversation, laughter, and the occasional comfortable silence. The city seemed less intimidating now, less chaotic. It was alive, but it felt like theirs for a moment, at least. At one point, Milo paused and looked at her. I think this city is better with you in it," he said softly. Nara's eyes sparkled. "And I think it's better with you in it too," she replied. For a long moment, they just stood there, watching the neon lights ripple across the water, rain falling gently around them. There was no danger, no chaos, no intruders, just the quiet hum of the city and the shared presence of two people who had found each other amid the neon rain. Finally, Milo took Nara's hand in his. "Then let's face the future together," he said, voice steady. "Yes," Nara said, squeezing his hand gently. "Together." And as the neon lights reflected in the rain-soaked streets, Milo and Nara walked forward, side by side, ready to face whatever challenges the city or life might bring. The night stretched before them, full of endless possibilities, hope, and the quiet spark of something beautiful that had begun in the rain. In that moment, under the neon glow and the gentle drizzle, Milo knew that their story was only beginning, but he also knew one thing for certain: they would face it together, and nothing could dim the spark they had found in each other.